It's so easy to nitpick and then cherry pick. You watch 4 games this weekend, you go, all right, let's look at everything the winners did and say that's how you do it. And the thing the losers didn't say, that's how you don't do it. But there are similarities between all 4 teams that are in the NFC and AFC championship games, the final 4 teams. Each of the 4 teams threw for less yards than the team they beat. Now, you might be thinking immediately there's a reason for that. But Mahomes threw for less yards than CJ Stroud by a wide margin. Jaden Daniels threw for less yards than Jared Goff by 14 yards. Jalen Hurts threw for way less, like 200 yards less than Matthew Stafford, 196 less than Matthew Stafford. And Lamar Jackson threw for more yards, 130 some, 128 more yards than Josh Allen. So all 4 winning quarterbacks threw for less yards. The other thing, and this goes hand in hand with that, is that all 4 winning teams had the lead going into the fourth quarter. The Bills, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Commanders all led going into the fourth quarter. We love Joe Montana comebacks. We love or don't love Patrick Mahomes comebacks. We love spending the whole season debating, looking at the wide swath of numbers, going, we got 17 games, your efficiency here, how many touchdowns, how many interceptions. Can you avoid sacks? Can you be efficient? Lamar and Josh Allen both completed passes. Can you play in weather at the end of the year? Now, 2 of the games were played in extreme weather. I mean, both games with the wind chill kicked off at near 0 degrees and got under 0 degrees. If you're the 49ers, maybe you fly everybody right now to Highmark Stadium, or you go to Baltimore. They're not using it anymore for this year. And you go to Washington and you go have a practice. You go throw the ball around in the cold. I mean, these are the types of games that, really separate. And I thought, as somebody who has been a participant in the Lamar doesn't win in the playoffs, and that has to be part of the way we talk about him. And it does. He doesn't. But the AFC is so tough. I thought Lamar, he had bad interception early, but I mean, he drives him down the field to tie the game. I wouldn't call it a perfect pass, but Mark Andrews would tell you a very good pass, right? I'm complimenting the pass. It wasn't perfect, but you're complimenting. It's where it's supposed to be. It's where when they've practiced that throw on the 2-point conversion 1,000 times, that throw has been right there, in that spot probably 950 times. So not more than good enough, but good enough. I mean, you just watch him and you go, yeah, he's got winning characteristics and winning moments. And that's really what, when you watch the 4 games this weekend, especially the 2 games Sunday and then the Washington-Detroit game on Saturday. And you know what? I put Kansas City in there too, because the touchdown Mahomes threw falling forward into the back of the end zone is like, I don't want to hear about somebody's efficiency versus Mahomes' efficiency. I just watch the guy and I see everything I need to see, that in January, you can rely on him to. It'll be somebody's heart out this year. Does he rip out the Bills' heart again? Does he get Philly? It's a long way to go. Philly or Washington. Unproven teams. Philly is a team proven. Sirianni, I don't know if he can ever be proven to me. But if you think about the Niners and you look at Philadelphia and you think about the NFC, who's going to be the 1 seed next year? I don't think it's going to be Detroit. I don't think it's going to be Minnesota. I don't think it's going to be Green Bay. And you might think, God, come on, man. The Niners, they won 6 games. They finished 12th in the NFC. What are you talking about? I think they're going to have a bounce back year. I don't apologize for that. It's not going to be Tampa. Could it be Washington? Right. So the 2 teams, I know everybody has crowned Jaden the best rookie season that anybody's ever had. And I'm fine with most of it because it was incredible. His deep ball accuracy, his accuracy is just, and his cool, like he's so cool, he's so calm. One of the biggest, probably even bigger than Ben Johnson staying or leaving Detroit. One of the biggest offseason coach no moves is Cliff staying in Washington. It sounds crazy. If you were the Bears, you'd have to think about Cliff and be like, could he save Caleb? So, but if he comes back, then you have to talk about Washington as a potential 1 seed next year. Again, I'm not putting Detroit there. So if you're the 49ers, that means that it's possible that you're going to Lincoln Financial Field. You're going to Fanatics Field or whatever. FedEx, are they still calling it FedEx Washington? Adam Peters Stadium, the house that Adam Peters is building. The cold was just such a factor today. And again, the Ravens handled it about as well as Buffalo handled it. Although Buffalo could kick. That was the other thing that you noticed that I saw this weekend was, and I understand it, it's very logical. If you're part of team, get Jake Moody some kicking competition. Let's get somebody in here to compete with Moody. Okay, that's fine and logical. And you are making a very solid point when you say that. But I just want to point out that the people that are available to be part of a kicking competition with Jake Moody are guys who are not starting kickers elsewhere. Zane Gonzalez and his OCD are the 6th kicker of the year for Washington, right? The story's well known. He missed one yesterday, or he missed one this weekend. That's the type of competition you're getting for Jake Moody. We know because he already had that competition once, and he was better. And then Zane got hurt anyway, but it wasn't really a competition. Now, in fairness, if you're going to be like, well, yeah, it wasn't a competition. This guy was their draft pick. True. It really wasn't a competition. This was going into the 2023 season. But sure, you want to do that? I guess you're probably bringing in a rookie. Fine, do it. Just know that odds are good that Jake Moody, in his current state, wins whatever that competition is. So you should do it, but just don't view that as the, as the thing that solves Jake Moody. You put him put some pressure on him in the competition. I guess. I mean, have you been to these practices? I have. Well, some of you have. It's not exactly NFL wins and pressure. I guess there is some wind, but it's not exactly the same. So I don't think that's the big save. I guess you have to hope that their best opportunity is to just hope that the ankle issue, the stuff that Shanahan talked about, was, actually what contributed to this thing at the end. But Lamar, you come away just respecting what I felt like you had to respect the way he played today. Obviously, Josh Allen, the mobility, another reason why I think Detroit just is not winning the championship. I think Goff's lack of mobility. And it's one of the things that, is almost, it's not a back. It's like people are, you're like, oh, well, Brock, he's mobile. He is. I mean, he's not Josh Allen. He's not the Lamar, but he's mobile enough. You need to be. You need to avoid negative plays. You need to avoid sacks. You need to avoid turnovers. And he does a pretty good job of that. The other thing you think about today, that like these weather games feel like such Christian McCaffrey games. Feel like such, if you have a running back who can catch the ball, either by design or by leak, it's such an advantage because the ball doesn't have to travel far. The quarterback doesn't have to throw it as hard. It's an easier ball to catch when it's 0 degrees. It's difficult for the defenders when the ground is hard to stick with a shifty running back, a powerful running back, right? If you are a powerful running back and you have momentum on your side, The tackler who has to break down has a harder time stopping you because the footing isn't as good. So that was the other thing you watched this weekend. Like, God, it's just you got to have Christian McCaffrey healthy and ready to roll at the end of the season, which is an argument to, take his load off a little bit during the regular season to have him ready in the postseason. So, what a great weekend! What a freezing cold weekend of NFL football.